Hello everyone, welcome back to the Simple Spark YouTube channel. Today in this video, I am going to explain one of the most fascinating experiments in the history of psychology, Wolfgang Köhler's work with chimpanzees and the Gestalt theory of learning. Have you ever had an aha moment? That sudden realization when the solution to the problem just clicks? That's insight learning, an idea that changes how we think about problem solving, intelligence, and even how we teach. In this video, we will explore what Gestalt psychology is, how Köhler's chimpanzees cracked complex problems, and why his findings still matters today. To understand Köhler's experiments, we need to first understand the psychological theory he was working with, that is Gestalt psychology. Gestalt psychology began in Germany in the early 20th century. Its core belief is simple but powerful. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. What this means is that when we look at a situation or a problem, we don't just see isolated pieces. Our minds naturally organize information into patterns and wholes. So, instead of looking at a problem like a checklist of steps, Gestalt psychology says we pursue the entire problem space and the relationships between parts. This was very different from behaviorism, which focused only on stimulus and response, what you can observe. Gestalt psychologists were more interested in the internal thought process and how we make sense of complex situations. Wolfgang Köhler was one of the key figures in Gestalt psychology. Born in 1887 in Estonia, he worked alongside other famous names like Max Wertheimer and Kurt Kafka. But Köhler's major contribution came during World War I, when he was stationed on the Spanish island of Tenerife. There he conducted a series of innovative experiments on chimpanzees to test how they solve problems. In one of Köhler's most famous experiments, he placed chimpanzees in a cage where a banana was hanging from the ceiling just out of their reach. Inside the cage were a few random objects, mostly boxes and sticks. At first, the chimps tried jumping. They failed. They wandered. They poked at things. But after some time, something fascinating happened. Take Sultan, for example, one of the most intelligent chimps in the group. After several moments of looking around, Sultan suddenly stacked the boxes, climbed up, and grabbed the banana. In another variation, he was given two sticks. Separately, they were too short. But then Sultan connected the sticks into one longer stick and used it to pull the banana towards him. This wasn't random trial and error. He didn't try 100 times until it worked. Instead, he stopped, observed, and suddenly came up with the solution. This led Köhler to argue the Sultan and likely other animals were capable of something far more advanced than previously thought: insight. Insight learning is the sudden realization of a solution to the problem. It's that aha or eureka moment when the parts of a problem come together in your mind and you suddenly see the answer. Köhler found that the chimps went through four distinct stages: preparation, incubation, insight, verification. Preparation means they encountered the problem and began trying. Incubation means they paused, stopped trying but kept thinking. Insight is suddenly they understood how the objects fit together to solve the problem. And verification, they tested the solution and succeeded, often on the first attempt. This was revolutionary at this time because it suggested that animals don't just learn by reinforcement. They can actually think, reflect, and recognize information mentally. To appreciate how different this was, let's compare it with another major theory of learning at that time, Thorndike's trial and error theory. Thorndike put cat in puzzle box. These cats learn to escape by slowly eliminating unsuccessful behaviors. Over time, they learn what worked, but only through repetition and reinforcement. But Köhler's chimps weren't just blindly trying everything. They stopped, thought, and then executed the correct solution almost perfectly. So, while trial and error is about slowly learning from mistakes, insight learning is about understanding the whole problem and suddenly seeing the answer. Köhler's experiment challenged the dominant behaviorist model and opened the door for what we now call cognitive psychology, the study of how the mind thinks, understands, and solves problems. This theory helps students to understand problems deeply. It uses the real world meaningful tasks and promote reflection and critical thinking. Of course, Köhler's work wasn't without criticism. Some psychologists argued that his findings were based on a small number of animals and that it's hard to measure insight objectively. Others pointed out that the chimps may have simply learned through past experiences and that we can't always know what they are thinking. Also, unlike the controlled conditions of a lab, the chimpanzee's cages had many variables, making the result harder to replicate. Still, despite this criticism, Köhler's work has stood the test of time as a powerful example of animal intelligence and problem solving. Today, insight learning is recognized as the important type of learning, one that plays a key role in creativity, problem solving, and even artificial intelligence. Köhler's chimpanzees showed us that intelligent behavior isn't just about habit, it's about perception, understanding, and the ability to mentally organize the parts of a problem into a meaningful whole. His work helped lay the foundation for modern cognitive psychology, influenced education methods that promote real world problem solving, and inspired deeper research into how both animals and humans think. So, the next time you have an aha moment, you can thank Wolfgang Köhler, and maybe even Sultan the chimpanzee for showing the world how insight truly works. So, the final thoughts are insight learning is nothing but sudden understanding. The Gestalt theory is a whole is key to learning. Colas chimpanzees proved animals think creative. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you never miss new content. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.